Welcome back to DeQuant.Studio. Today we're diving into the extraordinary life of a woman who was not just a freedom fighter or politician, but a poet who captured the soul of India. Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India. You know, as I researched her story, I found myself absolutely amazed by how one person could achieve so much in a single lifetime. Let me take you back to Hyderabad in 1879. It's February 13th, and a baby girl is born who would go on to change the course of Indian history. Now, here's something fascinating about young Sarojini. She was what we'd call a child prodigy. You see, while most of us were struggling with basic mathematics at age 12, she was already acing university entrance exams. I know, mind-blowing, right? But wait till you hear this. She wasn't just brilliant at academics. She had this incredible gift with words that would later earn her a beautiful nickname. You know what's really interesting? Sarojini grew up in a family that valued education above everything else. Her father, Dr. Aghoranath Chattopadhyay, was a scientist and the founder of Nizam College, and her mother loved Bengali literature. Imagine growing up in such an intellectually stimulating environment. Little Sarojini would often sit in her father's library, surrounded by books, writing poems in English when she was just a child. I always wonder, what must it have been like to be so young and yet have such a deep understanding of language and emotions? Now, here's where her story takes an incredible turn. Her father noticed her exceptional talent and made a decision that was pretty revolutionary for those times. He sent her to study in England. Can you imagine? We're talking about the late 1800s, when most Indian girls rarely stepped out of their homes. But there she was, crossing oceans to study at King's College London and later at Girton College, Cambridge. But you know what really makes me smile? When she was in England, writing poetry in perfect English style, some famous English poets gave her advice that would change everything. They basically told her, "Hey, why are you trying to be another English poet? Your India has so many beautiful stories to tell." And my friends, that's when magic happened. She started writing about our India, the bazaars, the festivals, the people, the colors. Let me share one of my favorite pieces from her poem, In the Bazaars of Hyderabad. "What do you sell, O ye merchants? Richly your wares are displayed, turbans of crimson and silver, tunics of purple brocade. Doesn't it just transport you to those bustling streets of old Hyderabad?" But here's where our Nightingale really spreads her wings. When India's freedom struggle was gaining momentum, Sarojini Naidu didn't just write about patriotism, she lived it. She stood shoulder to shoulder with Mahatma Gandhi during the Salt Satyagraha. You know, there's this powerful moment in 1930 when Gandhi was arrested during the Salt March. Everyone was looking for leadership. And guess who stepped up? Our poet, our Sarojini, led the movement forward with such courage that it inspired thousands. And folks, she was just getting started. In 1925, she did something unprecedented. She became the first woman president of the Indian National Congress. Just think about that for a moment. At a time when women weren't even allowed to vote in many parts of the world, here was an Indian woman leading one of the largest political movements in history. I sometimes wonder if she knew she was making history, or if she was just doing what she felt was right. After India gained independence, Sarojini Naidu broke yet another glass ceiling. She became the first woman governor of Uttar Pradesh. You know what's really special about this? She wasn't just filling a position. She was opening doors for generations of women to come. Every time I see a woman in a position of power today, I can't help but think of Sarojini Naidu and how she paved the way. Today, we celebrate her birthday as National Women's Day in India. And there's something beautiful about that. It's not just about remembering a great leader, it's about celebrating every Indian woman who dares to dream big. Whether you're a student, an artist, a professional, or an entrepreneur, Sarojini Naidu's story tells us that we can be many things: a poet, a leader, a revolutionary, a governor, and excel at all of them. You know what really strikes me about Sarojini Naidu? She showed us that you don't have to choose between your passions. She was writing soul-stirring poetry while leading political movements. She was fighting for India's freedom while nurturing her love for literature. In today's world, where we often feel pressured to pick just one path, isn't that a powerful message? So what can we learn from this remarkable woman? Well, I'd say quite a lot. She taught us that age is just a number. Excellence can come at any time. She showed us that we can pursue multiple passions. She proved that gender barriers are meant to be broken. And most importantly, she demonstrated that words and actions together can change the world. Remember what Sarojini Naidu once said: "We want deeper sincerity of motive, a greater courage in speech and earnestness in action." Let's carry forward her legacy by being brave enough to follow our dreams, no matter where they lead us. Friends, if this story inspired you as much as it inspires me every time I think about it, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear about this amazing woman. Don't forget to subscribe to DeQuant.Studio. We're on a mission to bring you more such incredible stories from our rich heritage that can inspire us today.